And I'm gonna this is gonna be a quick video, but just a glimpse of the level of rewiring and the purpose around me trying to negate reality, what they're part of. I refuse to allow them an ounce of fantasy. You know, one thing they hear every day is the torture of children. Megan is a woman, but that was abused as a child and tortured today as a woman, as a target individual. But Mariana, I should say, I was trying to say Mariana, is a woman who have a great testimonials, speaking in details of what's happening to her. But she doesn't only speak about what's happening to her, because unfortunately, she's also a teacher to young children. I say young children, I try to map. But unfortunately, those young children who have mental handicap or other handicap were attacked and harmed this program. Now, she's not the only one saying that. Sometimes the whole family is attacked using this technology. They make them sick, have cancer, some of them die, some of them were born too early, some of them get disease condition, they have seizures, they get blind, all kind of disgusting things, and done to children. Okay, this program clearly harmed children. There's a lot of validation of it, but her testimonials gives a great detail on specifics of the manipulation and the evilness. Now, the clowns around me, this trash that I hate, because what they do every day is they want to be seen as the people who protect children instead of what they are truly, people involved in a program that torture children. So they want you to let them live in this fantasized reality where they're not the trash that deserve to die for being involved in this horror that torture even children, but they're protecting children. What you saw here, and Sara, is they were trying to negate, and I say trying because if anything, I was like, they're so childlike, these people. You can see through what they're trying to do. They're trying to negate the testimony of this woman, which you're going to clearly talk about, and you're going to hear her talk about, etc. But as she talks about what horror the child goes through, to make me, she says something, about the type of tortures, and she goes into and say, etc. In my mind, what they do, they flip it as and Sara. Now, if you've watched my videos, there's these things where they have come up with falsified memories of me when I'm like 13 years old, and created something that didn't happen and make it look like it happens, like you were doing it for Sara. They falsify things and try to change it with their ways and give me stimulation and this, and so that, etc. And Sara, when they're trying to negate how a child with autism is being suffocated or sexually tortured. And so they bring up what they've created as me as a child of 13 with Sara to negate what they do to children for real. And then they send this trash. They're supposed to have this attitude and fanaticalness. Yeah, you're going to pay for that. Yeah, right, trash. You just try to negate what you're involved in. You kill children and torture them. You don't... This is not how it works. You're not going to negate that. Trust me. You're not going to do that. And it's not the first time they try to do that. Every time it's like, immediately I see them, it's like, you kill children, you fucking lowlife. And they are like almost surprised. Oh. It's like, whoa, yo, do you think you could, these people, you don't know in what danger you could be. And I'm not being trying to be threatful. It's because I truly connect them for what they're part of. They can send the fucking clowns when they say, yeah, that's something, that's now, too fucking low life. But we're talking about the life of and sufferance of children. No. You're not going to change your etc. to etc. because you want to block reality and bring up what you created. Trash ass. To negate the torture of a 7-year-old with autism that's being not only sexually tortured, but it's been suffocating her. Delusional trash, and then send some immaturity to try to negate that. They will eat the full reality of what they're part of. And then etc. to Sara or etc. Never. And as I say, it's Sara, they stimulate me. Because they're mad, they're trash. This trash deserves to die. If they don't know that, I'll make sure it's mentioned as much as possible. Now, I don't want to kill any of this trash. it'll be below me. But I cannot allow this trash to walk around thinking that they're gonna be like, etc., etc., to negate how they torture children. And act, oh, no, for Sarah, you're trash. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill, you're trying to negate what these children go through. Because you're involved in the same thing. And I will say that a million times. I'll lose my voice saying that. Let that be in the air. So this trash, some of them kids, know when it comes to them, they were like, etc., etc. And, you don't need to be a prophet or clairvoyant to see where life is going for some of this trash. And I will say that as much as I can because I understand the state of my situation right now. I'm terminal. I know I'm terminally ill. Like my internal organs are destroyed. So that's what a dying man would do. Making sure that they said as many times. Because they were trying to negate how they torture children. They changed etc. to etc. Fucking low life. With the storylines they come up. No, you're gonna eat reality. A real reality, not a fantasized reality. To my talking video. Listen to what they try to negate. And as I listen back to this recording, actually what they were trying to negate is Mariana not talking about how the children are being tortured, but how her genitals are being targeted and harmed. And she says etc. there, as in, and other stuff in regard to that torture. And they try to negate by saying it's Sarah, to negate the sexual torture of this woman. And my brain is at this point just so morphed in and confused that everything that's Mariana, is the confusion of like, is it there or there? I was listening to her testimonials of talking about the torture of children, and my brain was immediately rewired to think etc. said there, so it's Sarah, to try to negate the torture of these children. But in reality, when she said etc. was when she was talking about her vagina being tortured. Listen to this nastiness. As a matter of fact, they try to use that. You see, no, that's not what we try to negate there. Yeah, no, sorry, you try to negate her vagina being tortured. And saying etc. Talk about you're gonna hear where they try to negate that. It's so foul. Talking videos, stay strong and see this trash for they are. They really want to gaslight you and make you forget the horror of what they're involved in. To stop me from thinking about this.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain, but usually involved daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past pelvic body.
I'd like to leave these flyers with you all as well.
Perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past. But usually involve daily and nightly continuous. I am currently a speech language